Hello again everyone, I am Attorney Felson Dalaguete, and for this discussion video, I will be elaborating on the different modes of delivery of instruction this coming academic year 2020-2021. At the onset, I hope that everyone is doing well and staying safe during these uncertain times. Just a brief background, blended learning is not new to our school. We have introduced its concept to our teachers, parents, and students last academic year 2019-2020. This is part of our school's digital transformation framework. This coming academic year 2020-2021 was supposed to be the first phase of implementation for grades 9 to 12. However, considering the COVID-19 crisis, we would be widening the scope of its implementation to all levels. We understand that this crisis is unprecedented. Parents are concerned for the safety and security of their kids, and that's very understandable. We crafted these policies to have a sense of certainty in these uncertain times. With these new modes of delivery, we hope to provide our parents a more flexible option. So what are these modes of delivery? These are blended learning and full online. Let us look at the table comparing the two options. If you would notice, the only difference between blended learning and full online is on how the classes are conducted. For blended learning, they would come to class physically. For full online, they would be participating in the class through our online platform. In both modes of delivery, the student is required to perform home-based activities. This is to limit the time spent on classes. If the activities are already done before the class starts, then the teacher would only focus on the analysis of the activity and the reinforcement of the understanding of the students. Also, assessments are taken home and some are online. This, again, is to limit the time spent on classes. The next question that we receive is what levels are these modes implemented? For preschool to grade 3, we'll be requiring them to have full online delivery. We have already received some questions regarding this. Does it mean that preschool to grade 3 students would not come to school? Yes. We are doing this to limit the exposure of the kids and to ensure their safety by allowing them to learn at the comfort of their homes. For grades 4 to 10, it is now the option of the parents if they would opt for blended learning or full online. Nonetheless, we are strongly recommending the full online option. For grades 11 to 12, we would only be offering the blended learning, meaning senior high school students would come to school for their face-to-face classes. The reason why the full online option is not offered to senior high school students is because majority of the content of their curriculum is complex to be learned by relying only on online interactions. We deemed it best to require them to come to school so they could have guidance from their teachers. Nonetheless, we would implement social distancing measures within the campus. One of these social distancing measures are shifting of schedules and reduced class hours. How long would this setup be implemented? As I have said, these are uncertain times and what we are doing is to provide a semblance of certainty so we could plan our programs properly. If we focus too much on the uncertainty, we could not move forward. Our plan is to implement this setup for 2 quarters only. On the third quarter, we would slowly transition back to face-to-face learning. Here is our contingency plan to guide everyone on what we will do in the event of several scenarios. In scenario 1, we assume that there will be no enhanced or general community quarantine imposed. Our action plan is that preschool to grade 3 students will be under online learning. Grade 4 to grade 10 students can choose between blended learning and online learning. And for grade 11 to 12, they will be under blended learning. In scenario 2, we assume that an enhanced or general community quarantine is imposed. Our action plan is that all levels shall be under online learning. Students who are under the blended learning option would shift to online learning. There will be no face-to-face classes for the duration of the ECQ and GCQ. As what I have said earlier, blended learning and online learning would be implemented for 2 quarters. subject to Scenario 1 and Scenario 2. We will reevaluate the public health situation by the end of the second quarter, which is on February 2021. Depending on our evaluations, our options would be Option 1, continue with online learning and blended learning, or Option 2, shift all levels to blended learning to slowly transition back to face-to-face learning. So how would we conduct online classes? Our discussion would focus on the basic implementation framework, so our parents would have an overview and a visualization of how blended learning and online classes will be conducted. The conduct of online and blended classes is the same with how we conduct our regular classes. It follows these three stages: student activities, discussion, and then assessment. For activities, both blended and full online will have home-based activities. These activities would be uploaded before their scheduled classes. Parents can guide their students in doing these activities at home. For discussion and analysis, those under blended learning would come to school physically, while those under full online will participate through our online platform. Classes are limited to 30 minutes per period. This is to minimize physical contact for students under the blended learning and minimize the screen time for those who are under full online. The 30 minutes would be devoted to analysis of the home-based activity and reinforcement of the understanding of the students of the lesson. Next is assessment. We would be using three types of assessment. One is online assessment through Microsoft Forms. Two is take-home assessments. And lastly, portfolio assessments. This is a rough visualization of the learning process for the two modes of delivery. Blended learning is a general concept, and the execution may differ from school to school. On our part, we want our implementation to be similar to what we have been doing in regular class. Student activity, then class discussion, then assessment. This way, students and parents would not have a huge adjustment on their part. Now, we would discuss the different platforms that we would be using. Licenses for these platforms are already included in the miscellaneous fee of the students. We are a recognized Microsoft school, so we will be using Microsoft solutions in our online and blended learning. For the student activities, demonstration videos and activity guidelines will be uploaded in the teams of each class in Microsoft Teams. For the class discussion, online classes will be conducted through Microsoft Teams. For assessments, assessments will be administered through Microsoft Forms. To protect the privacy and data security of students and parents, we discourage the use of personal emails and social media accounts. A dedicated school email will be assigned to each student, which they would use to access the various platforms. We would have another orientation to discuss how to use these platforms. That was the discussion on the blended and online learning modes of delivery. Part 3 of this series would discuss the content, learning materials and resources, and class size and schedules for academic year 2020-2021. Again, if you have questions or other concerns, please don't hesitate to message us on our official Facebook page, Integrated School of Science Official, or email us at info@integratedschoolofscience.com. Thank you, God bless, and stay safe.